This is Steve Ridgel, and I want to talk a little bit this morning about my good friend Charles Goodnight. Charles went home to be with the Lord. Our preaching, our knowing each other goes back probably 55 years probably. We've done youth ministry together. We both preached for years. He spent his last 20 years here in Abilene, where I am, and he spent most of that time as a chaplain. He did a lot of hospice work. He did a lot of end of life kind of care. He did chaplain work for home health agencies and hospitals and just a lot of things like that. Served the last probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 years as an elder at the Baker Heights Church of Christ here in Abilene. Everywhere Charlie was, I ended up going to preach. I did youth rallies where he was. I did Wednesday night special series where he was. Did seminars at places he was. Just spent a lot of time. And so I got to keep up with him over the years that way. We'd do lunch every, I don't know, 6 months to a year. Not as often as we should have, but enough to keep touch. I love Charlie, and I'm going to tell you why I love Charles Goodnight, or Good Grief, as I called him Good Grief for years. I don't know why I started calling him that, but I did. But there's something about guys that you started preaching with. There's a whole group of guys that go way, way, way back with Charles Goodnight. I've got other guys that go way back. Richard Blaisdell, who I grew up with, and has been a great servant of the Lord for years, and John Chick and Don Truitt, and just guys that I did ministry with for years when we were younger. But Charles was one of those guys, and here's a couple of reasons I really always loved Charles Goodnight. One is he was genuinely a good guy. Now, somebody says, yeah, well, he was a preacher and an elder. No, I know. And I don't mean he was a perfect guy, because Charles wasn't perfect. I knew him well. But he was genuinely a good guy. He wanted to do what God wanted him to do. He wanted to serve the Lord, and I love that about Charles. And Charles always really genuinely loved people. He cared. He would ask about my kids. He cared about my wife. He would ask about my grandkids. Charles loved people. One reason I made him an elder at Baker Heights is because he really cared about his flock. He loved his flock. And Charles wanted the best for people. And I watched Charles in action sometimes with people at the end of life. And he was really good helping people navigate that. He was good to encourage faithfulness when believers were dying and believers had family. And sometimes their family weren't believers, but Charles was good through that. He really helped people. And then I watched Charles as he died. Watched him as he got progressively sicker. He's 75 when he died. And in some ways that seems really young, and in some ways, okay, people in their 70s die. I guess it hit me a little bit because I'm 74, right behind Charles. But I watched him as he got weaker. I'd watch him in the hospital. I'd see the videos he posted, and I'd talk to him. And, Charles wasn't afraid to die. He would consistently say, of course, I want to get better and do more, but if I don't, it's okay. It'll be okay. And I watched him as he got weaker. He never lost his faith, never lost his sense of humor, never lost the goodness that was Charles Goodnight. Never did. Stayed faithful to the end. And so I just want to take a moment to say, well done, Charles. Well done. I'm glad you made it home. I'm glad you're in heaven. And good grief, you take care of everybody up there, because I'll be along directly and we'll hang out again.